Welcome, all you marketing artists, robots, and hybrids. Coming up on today's show, a new AI platform is promising complete advertising process automation, soup to nuts. Major U.S. cities are advertising towards in a boots Canadian tourists. And some brands are kicking off their summer campaigns now. If you work in marketing, advertising, or publicity, give us 10 minutes and we'll give you your next promotion. Let's go. Welcome to Undead, David Ogilvy's favorite YouTube show about marketing. I'm Matthew Newell.
And I'm Chris Stone, and we're going to give you the big ideas that you can use this week in your quest to become a marketing giant. Matthew, do you have what it takes this week?
I'm hoping so. Here's what you need to know from an industry that is business up front and sadly rarely a party in the back these days. Today's lead headline, up-and-coming AI platform Luma is touting they have built and launched a complete ad creation platform this week. They say it starts with the initial campaign concepting all the way to campaign execution. They also say that they will soon tie into demand-side platforms called DSPs and supply-side platforms called SSPs, which is fancy speak for the dashboards that advertisers and media entities use for programmatic ads. The process includes regularly checking in with the creator, hello, then automatically selecting tasks based on the creator's input. Now, here's the technical mumbo jumbo. Luma is using Ray 3.14, VO3, Sora 2, Kling 2.6, Clem 6.7, Nano Banana Pro, Seedstream, GPT Image 1.5, and 11 Labs. I did make one of those up. Publicis Middle East and Service Plan Group are said to be testing the tech. Chris is someone who, like me, who thinks that writing a buttoned-up creative brief is one of the great regular joys in all of the marketing industry. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, great. So now AI can take a 200-word brief and a tube of lipstick and do in 48 hours what used to take a creative team 6 months and 4 nervous breakdowns to accomplish. But sure, I'll miss the joy, Matthew, of writing that brief the same way I miss faxing media buys and waiting for film to develop.
Next up in our marketing queue, major U.S. cities are setting their sights on Canadian tourists because for some crazy reason, travel to the U.S. has fallen off a Newfoundland cliff. Las Vegas, Chicago, New York, Denver, and others are responding to a double-digit % decrease in visitors from America's Hat. Vegas alone has proposed a $6 million ad spend to encourage Canadian snowbirds to consider visiting their land of 10,000 mistakes, trademark Matthew Newell, while partnering with airlines and hotels to make the trip more attractive. These cities rely on millions of tourist tax dollars to fund their cultural institutions like museums and performing arts centers, stadiums, and major event venues. Chris, what say you?
We ticked off an entire country, and now we're spending $6 million to beg them to come back, which is a boot the foreign policy equivalent of keying your neighbor's car and then sliding a Groupon for Cirque du Soleil under their door, eh?
Our final headline, major brands are responding to this year's weather changes by launching their summer campaigns now. In a time of this recording, it's technically still winter. As some marketers have had to learn, when seasonal weather arrives early, consumer demand arrives with it. Products tied to outdoor activity and warm weather consumption are seeing increased demand weeks or even months earlier than usual. Air conditioning brand Volta's, Gilded Age mainstay Burberry, activewear brand Uniqlo, and many in the beverage industry are turning up the heat by getting their campaigns out of the gate now, earlier than ever. This is not a debate on the causes or effects of climate change. This is real world and a practical step so that these brands aren't wearing their skull caps while the rest of the world is applying SPF 100.
Nothing says we're panicking quite like Burberry launching a swimwear campaign in February. But hey, if you can't beat the heat, folks, at least make sure your logo is on the sunburn. All right, Matthew, it's time for Real. Recognize Real. And this week, I'm tipping my Kangol bucket hat to Adidas Originals, and specifically the agency Johannes Leonardo for doing something that sounds simple but is deceptively hard, making a 55-year-old sneaker feel like it just dropped yesterday. The campaign's called The Original Icon Superstar, and they built a whole cinematic fever dream around it called Hotel Superstar. This timeless, sort of surreal hotel where generations collide and the clocks don't exist, which kind of describes most ad agency offices at 2 a.m. before a pitch. But who's your bellhop through this whole thing? Your favorite Tarantino villain, Samuel L. Jackson. You know, the guy that has the wallet that says bad on it? Walking through the hallways, looking for his superstars, bumping into Kendall Jenner, James Harden, Glorilla, Missy Elliott, basically a casting director's vision board come to life. It's shot like a Wes Anderson film, had a baby with a sneaker commercial, and I mean that with the highest compliment. But here's why this is real, recognized, real material. Matthew, they didn't just relaunch a shoe. They didn't slap 2.0 on it. They didn't add a blockchain insole. They just said, this thing's never left, and here's why every generation keeps picking it up. That's the move. You don't reinvent an icon. You just remind people why it became one. Adidas, Johannes Leonardo, real, recognize real, and Matthew, all day I dream about superstars.
Chris, I love that. And particularly Adidas got to ride the Kanye wave for many years. That has its own halo effect. They don't have that halo effect anymore. And I love just going back to what makes Adidas. And for that matter, what makes Samuel L. Jackson. All right, Chris, for my real, recognize real, we are keeping it simple right now. There is a tennis tournament going on in Southern California, technically called the BNP Paribas Open, aka Indian Wells, aka Tennis Paradise, aka Tennis's Fifth Slam. Here's what I love about this this commercial that they're running. I've gotten so used to in our industry that we focus on fear-based marketing, that we eschew the things that make life every day so wonderful. And they have an ad running about one of the OG great aspects of tennis, and that is the ball kids. And not only is it about the ball kids, in tennis, the ball kids are revered. Roger Federer used to be a ball kid. When someone wins the main trophy, the ball kids 99% out of the time get a shout out. They got rid of the people calling the lines through automation before they got rid of the ball kids. They said the tennis players and the tennis community love the ball kids, but it didn't just highlight the ball kids. They also stripped away all of the noise around everything that we think about these days. All of the, is this the right, is this the person the right height? Are they the right nationality? Are they the right whatever? They have a young boy and a young girl, probably in their teens, who not only are trying out to be ball kids for the BNP Paribas Open, they fall in love. And at the very end, their little pinkies have a little thing, and it's so cute. And what I love about this is that it strips out all of the uncomfortable moments of life, and it just focuses on joy. And do you know how hard, Chris, it is these days to make a commercial that sure, yes, it promotes the event, and yes, it promotes tennis, but we're just talking about joy, the joy of sports, the joy of being a teenager, the joy of having a crush. And let's forget about everything else. Yeah. It is a 30-second spot that every time I see it, I watch it with my eyes glued to the screen, because it really does take me back to, I was never a ball kid, but it does take me back to a more innocent day when it was just good enough to see someone that you thought was cute and try to get your hair just right and try to impress them. That is real recognize real.
Real recognize real. Sweet recognize sweet. This is one of the sweetest commercials. You fall in love with the characters in 15 seconds. You can't wait to see what happens. The boy is getting himself in shape for the girl and trying to do, they catch each other's eyesight. It's a fantastic commercial. And it's like one of those commercials that's like, wait a minute, what are you trying to promote here? I don't really know, but like you said, I can't look away.
And I love, Chris, I didn't mention the music bed. The music bed is it's in a foreign language. We're not even distracted by the word. Oh, what are they saying? And is there a sub theme to this?
Right.
Who knows? It's just
not
a
annoying
sweet
at
song
all.
playing in the background. All right, Chris, before we land the plane, let's play the marketing over-under game. I put out a scenario. Chris provides the over-under, and let's all try to type in the comments to see which side of the over-under we're taking. We're going to go back to our friends in Canada. In 2025, Las Vegas welcomed 4.75 million international tourists. That's a lot. What percentage of those tourists were Canadian, Chris?
Oh, geez. They're trying to get them here, so I don't suppose this is very high. So I'm going to say over under 11%.
11%. Boom, we've got it. We'll put it in the comments, and you guess if it's over or under 11%, and we will we'll reveal the answer later.
Yes, when Rush and Alanis Morissette and Bryan Adams play the Sphere in Las Vegas, I would say double that percentage.
That's exactly right. Who is Skater Boy? Avril Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, she'll be inside the Sphere doing a little skate park thing.
That's all for this week's Marketing Machines and Mischief. Please click the subscribe button, the likes, the thumbs, the bells, whatever other little button they put in front of you here on whatever platform you're watching or listening. But we do have some little thing before you go, and that is
a little lesson learned. Always try to respond with love. We'll see you next week.